Are we connected? Yes, we are. Hello. We're still waiting for everybody to come in and join us. Oh, we are so dark because my light is not on. That's why. Because I'm like, why is the light so... Oh. Yes. You see now. You see.
This
you
life.
See now.
This life, I can't.
So yeah, man. Hello, Manti. That's my boyfriend, by the way. We just got it.
Okay.
Yes, welcome to it. This is Talking Issues with Itu Motuba. And today we're talking to Tumi Bulunga. The big issue today is sex addiction real, right? We had a great time last week talking to Kanelo, and we were talking about why women stay in abusive relationships, and that was just amazing and powerful. And thank you so much for the feedback for everybody that came through and also later watched it. Thank you for everybody that subscribed to my YouTube channel. Please go there, Itu Motuba, you'll find me there. Is it Itu Motuba? If it's not Itu Motuba, it's Tumi Bulunga. You'll also find me there. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I load these on my YouTube channel once I'm done as well. So if you want to also catch previous ones, you can also go onto YouTube and you'll be able to see that. But for now, we are back to the issue, and the issue is what sex. I think most people are like, why? It's because people don't believe that it's a real thing, and hence the phrasing to say that is it real? Yeah, because we'd like to know. Please do comment. I always read your comments. I know the comments are always sideways, so please don't mind me going like that because I'll read there. Abuti, hi, I see Guardian is here. My friend Momo is here. Everybody, welcome. Yeah. So we're going to get into it. Let me introduce you to this guy, right? This guy's sitting right here. Ta-dam! This is Tumi Bulunga. I've known this guy since he was yay height.
Right.
Yes. And
expose my age, why don't you? Expose my age.
I'm exposing him. And we went to school together, and then later we found that we kind of followed the same path somehow, and that we became journalists, and then next thing we are speakers, and then I'm five to being an author as well. He's also an author.
Congrats.
Yeah, he wrote a book called Dreams Don't Stutter, and I still love the title so much, yeah, because it really summarizes what the book is about, because he's such a positive spirit, and he's always been there about that. Why him for this topic, right? Because in his book, inside Beneganti's book,
chapter 10,
Get Dreams Don't Stutter, okay? In chapter 10, he touches on this subject, and I thought, you know what? I like it when people speak from their own experiences. I think if there's one thing, if you've been following us doing this, I don't get experts. I get people who have experienced and who come from a point of experience. You know, ordinary people telling us extraordinary, about their extraordinary lives. Yeah? So that's what's up. So welcome to Talking Issues with Itu.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, man.
Yes, I'm a bit far today, but I'll read. Yes, of course. Tumi Matala is here as well. I see everybody. I think she says Leah now it's from when you were this. Yeah.
Are you for real?
Yeah. Because she's from 20s. Bongani Matala's wife.
Oh yes, okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So to me, yeah, man, before we get into the issue at hand, just I know I've introduced you, but I just want you to tell our viewers who you are and why is it so important for you to speak about the subject.
I'm Tumi Bulunga. I'm a speaker, I'm an author, I'm an observer of life. I like to observe what people are going through and then come up with my own conclusion. I want to talk about sexual addiction because it's something we take for granted, you know. We all know about food addiction, alcohol and drugs, going to rehab, but we tend to overlook this one in particular, and it's ravaging our communities. You know, infidelity is high, human trafficking is on another level now. You know, gender-based violence, the root source. You know, it's molestation, rape. It all stems from sexual addiction that was never diagnosed. You know what I mean? So I want us to talk about it and don't be ashamed of it, because healing comes when you talk about it. So I'm a victim. Am I a victim or am I a conqueror?
You're a victor.
I'm a victor. Yes, that's the word. That's the word. Victor. You know, I'm a victor because I've overcome it. You know, let me not say I'm recovering. I've overcome it.
Yes.
So that's why now I have the guts to share my story with the masses.
So okay, so let's get to it, right?
Yeah.
Before I even get into your own personal story,
Yeah.
is sexual addiction real? And I had an interesting conversation with somebody earlier on today who said, unfortunately, I can't shoot in because he won't be around. Yeah. And he was saying to him, he doesn't think it's a real thing.
Okay.
And he thinks that it's an impossibility for you to say that because it's just an excuse for people to be immoral, if you may. You know? And he thinks that it's just an excuse for people to behave trifling instead of sticking to the morality of being monogamous. It's just an excuse. You know, I like that we're on the interweb. It's an excuse. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So is it real, and how do you say it's real, and how do you quantify it?
Well, it's not an excuse. That's for one, because we need to understand that we are creatures of habit. But the habits we create, they can either build us or break us. And when they begin to break us and they now interfere with daily living, you know it's not normal. So with sexual addiction, how can it be quantified? It can't be quantified. But I mean, we can also study your patterns, and we study your activities, and we study your triggers. Then we can be able to say, oh, okay, there's a pattern here, and this pattern is causing 1, 2, 3. And when 1, 2, 3 now causes a breakdown at work, in your family,
that's true.
You know it's not an excuse; it's an addiction. You know.
Yeah, because how I look at it is that if your functioning life becomes disrupted because of the need for whatever it is, and you are also using it as a form of escapism.
Yes.
You know, for me, then it's something that you should check if there is a level of addiction to it.
Exactly.
Because they are functioning addicts. And whenever I say this, people think that drug addicts, for instance, for example, are all unfunctioning. There's functioning drug addicts that go to work, that live in their lives, in their families, but they're still addicted to drugs. You know what I mean? So in itself, I don't think you can say
it's an excuse.
You know what I mean?
It's not an excuse.
So now let's get into your story. I think let's jump into it. Before I do that, shout out to Lerato Bodile. I saw her. Lala. She did say, she's like, I'm gonna watch. It's Tumi. She's a friend. And so everybody, I see you. Thank you for coming through. So your story. How did you get to that point where you were not diagnosed by somebody. You decided with yourself, you're like, this is an addiction. How did you get to that realization?
Well, it starts small, right? It starts small like any other addiction, and then it grows, you know? Whatever it is that you feed, eventually will overpower you.
True.
So I was feeding it. I've always been curious. It started with magazines, you know, those magazines, Moscow.
Hustler.
That would steal after school. And then you come back home, you know, we are under bed. Then at night you would peep, and, you know. So I fed it. I fed the monster. It grew. When did I realize that it's a problem? When it would now interrupt with my daily routine. It would affect my studies. I'd find myself in my room masturbating. That's another clear indicator. Chronic masturbation. Because according to doctors, they say it's healthy to masturbate maybe once or twice a week. If you're doing it 8 times a day.
No, guy, you can't be doing it 8 times a day. No, that's crazy.
I'm not saying I was doing it 8 times a day. I'm saying
I'm agreeing. I'm like, no, but like that's a bit like.
So there were times where I'd jerk off and masturbate to a point where nothing would come out. I'd be so exhausted, tired, and I still want more, but my body's saying no. That's a sign that, okay, you are hungry for something, but you are trying to replace it with something else.
Yeah.
There's a quote that one pastor said that is so controversial. It shocked me. That pastor said, every man that you find going to a strip club, deep down, that man is looking for God. I know.
Okay, I'm lost. Okay.
I know. We think that the man is there just to see a girl who's naked dancing on a pole. That's just a cover up. Deep down, there's a need for God that he's trying so hard to numb with physical instant gratification. But when you look at the underlying cause, why he's doing it, there's a spiritual void that he can't explain. That's why he's going to the strip club and he's getting wasted and getting high. It's a cry for help, but he doesn't know what's really missing. So yeah.
Because usually they go together.
Sure.
The girls and the alcohol
Yeah.
and the parties and
Yeah.
the... Like, it usually goes together. Though, I mean, I know because of reading your book and having had this conversation before with you.
Yes.
With you, it was kind of like the pornography and the you being alone and the masturbation, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's where people then come in and say, but then how can you quantify it? I mean, look, I'm a healthy young man.
Sure.
I have a healthy sex drive.
Yeah.
And if I want to have a different girl every day, it doesn't automatically mean that I'm a sex addict, does it?
Yeah. Yes and no. Yes and no. Yes, you are a young man, and you know you've got what 500 million sperms.
Yeah.
You know, in your system. I'm ready to come out at any point. I get that. Physiologically, yes, you are a man, and you are here to mate and reproduce. So on that part, yes, I agree with you. But on another spiritual side, it's detrimental to you because as human beings, we are all carrying different energies. So sex is not just a physical thing; it's a spiritual thing, and most people don't get that. Mental illnesses, most of them, you think that okay, maybe it's passed down from my mom, my dad, but you find that you connected yourself with someone who was in a very bad space spiritually, and whatever was bugging them has now jumped onto you, and then you jump to the next person, and it's just this chaos of spirits coming together. And remember, check when we are having sex, right? Some people are so selfish. His goal is just to have gratification for himself. He's not thinking that, okay, I wanna pleasure Itu. So because the motive is wrong, I'm giving off a negative energy. Her motive is wrong because she's like, okay, he's got money, he's old, he's bald, but I'm just gonna do it because I want money. So we both have wrong motives. So it's negative energies coming together because the motives are wrong. So no one is growing. So it's just it's chaotic from one person to the next. So there's nothing healthy about that. There's nothing healthy about giving yourself to a person who is not in the right space.
But I think my thing, what I want to get at is
Sure.
What is the difference between being promiscuous and being a sex addict? You know what I mean? Because I think some people are just promiscuous.
Is it?
I really think so.
But now, what causes the promiscuity? I'm promiscuous because I'm looking for something. I'm promiscuous because I believe that if I sleep with this person or that person, there's a promise that I might get. Hence promiscuity. I feel like every time I sleep with this person, that person, my promises might come to pass. They might eventually make me happy. She might fulfill me. But after you sleep with this one, you want more. And you want more. And the porn industry, they feed on that. I've never had a fantasy of sleeping with a Japanese girl.
Okay.
But guess what? Because the porn industry gives you those options, categories online. Oh, there's Japanese. Oh, there's Jamaican. Oh, there's BBW. All these things. You click and they're like, oh, I never thought of that. So now they are feeding.
So it's like a rabbit hole.
Yeah, they are feeding the addiction. They are feeding the fantasies. It grows. It's, you know what I mean. There's nothing healthy about that because now that's where pedophilia comes in. You know, at first you wouldn't even think of looking at a kid who was going to a primary school, but now because now the idea has been exposed to you, and now you see the pleasure the guy is experiencing. You're like, oh, maybe it's not such a bad idea if I also
like my skin just crawled at that thought.
Pedophilia, bestiality, right? Bestiality, exactly.
Like
yes, and check. People read the papers and they laugh. They listen. Man slept with a goat. Man had sex with a chicken. He's going to appear in court on Friday, and then we laugh. But bestiality is a big thing in the porn industry. So if I keep watching that, it makes what's abnormal become normal. That's my problem.
So it's like you're normalizing it.
Yes, you become desensitized. That's the word.
Yeah.
What used to scare you now it's like, okay, that's cool. That's my problem. When kids now, it's not abnormal now to sleep with a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
Because hey,
and I'm not even. I mean, look, even you 10-year-olds I see, but there's always the teacher and student
fantasy.
And teenagers, you know, and there'll always be that, oh no, but she's a young teen, you know, and it's okay, and it's even with the kids who are younger, it's illegal. You can report them and say, look, this is illegal. Yeah. But with the fantasy of a teen, they'll say no, but the porn star was not a teen. It's just that we're just selling the fantasy of a teen. Yeah. And I'm like, why are you even selling the fantasy of a teen to begin with? Even if she was not a teen, even if she looks like a teen, maybe she's already an adult. 19 I have a problem with the idea of why are you selling the idea of a fantasy of being with a teen, you know, to begin with.
Exactly.
You know? Guys, you know you can ask us questions, right? You are allowed to make comments and to ask questions as we go on. I'll read them. Don't mind me going sideways. It'll be just me reading the comments, right? So now, here, it's complicated.
Like you said, it's a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't end. This feeds this feeds this. So after bestiality, you go to other things. There are people who think, Kanye, what's the word? Where I had the word in my mind where they sleep with corpse. There's the word for it.
Necrophilia.
Necrophilia. Where do you think necrophilia comes from? Come on now. Necrophilia.
But isn't it the other way around? Isn't it because they create these categories to be there because there's a need? There's already a need. It's like already people were already thinking about that. It's just that they're creating. They've already decided to create a fantasy. And look, I'm not defending them. I'm just saying that I don't think that pedophilia is something that started because of pornography. Sure. I think it was fueled by pornography.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I think it's necrophilia is there. It's been there. Bestiality has been there. It's just that now it's fueled.
Can you please explain to them what necrophilia is? Because I don't think some get it.
Necrophilia is when somebody has a fetish, if I may, to sleep with dead people, like a corpse.
Yep. When in mortuary, people are having the time of their life. I'm telling you, it's crazy. It's illegal. And there are people who have been arrested because they slept with dead bodies.
Yes.
And their loved ones, they found out.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So if you think that's normal, then you have a problem. There's nothing normal.
So when did you have that turnaround? Like when did you have that experience? You know, always
sure.
I remember this guy who was a recovering alcoholic.
Yeah.
You know, he said the day he woke up, and he was sleeping next to a homeless person, Mostrading.
Sure.
And
It registered.
and people were passing and thought he was also homeless.
Yeah.
Because he was dead drunk, and so
It registered.
that's when it hit him. That was his rock bottom.
When was my
Like your rock bottom, when you were like, I gotta change.
When I woke up at a brothel.
Yeah.
Yep. I woke up at a brothel with a stranger, and it just felt wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? This is not right. It don't feel right. It don't look good. This is just not right. And I just knew that, you know what? I need help.
Yeah.
I need help. This is not. And when you're doing something against your will, that's the problem. You see, if I'm smoking because I want to, and I love how tobacco feels, that's okay. But if I'm smoking because I can't stop,
yeah,
it's now against my will. I'm doing it for survival, not pleasure. You know, there's a problem. So I was having sex not for pleasure, but because I can't live without it.
Because they felt like a need, like, you know.
Yeah, like a need.
I mean, I'm a reformed smoker, you know.
Yeah.
So I know when you have that craving, like, and it's there and it's in your head, and you have to have a cigarette. You have to have a cigarette.
Yeah.
You know, there's no choice about your body screaming for it.
Exactly.
Everything about you screaming for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, is it the same
with sex?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. It is. It's worse. It's worse with sex. It is worse with sex. What do you think makes a man ka 2:30 a.m. in the morning atsoge ashiye msadi le bana a start koloi and go to a strip club or a brothel or a side chick? He could say, no, it's late, I'll see you tomorrow, but he must leave now.
Yeah.
Because the body is screaming. I want. So that's when you know what, I need help. And the sad part is that unlike any other drug, they can give you pills, medication that you take that can,
help you deal.
Exactly. But with this kind of addiction, there's no drug, there's no pill. It's psychological. You must face your demons by yourself.
It's like gambling.
Yeah, there's no pill.
Yeah. I'm gonna read. Lerato says, have your addiction ever affected your relationships?
Oh, definitely. I'm 33, not married, no kids. The longest I've been in a relationship was 6 months. And that bothers me because
that bothers me too.
Exactly, because it shows a pattern of inconsistency. I can love you, right? But if you don't feed the addiction, I'm gonna jump to the next person. So it's not fair because now I'm expecting you to feel something that only God can feel.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's not fair. So yes, it has affected my love life. Girls have dumped me because they say to me, when I get the high five, what's that? So it's like, and God can feel, okay, this guy, he's not doing it
for the sake of intimacy.
Yes, he's doing it like he's just doing I'm just a toy.
Yeah, like it's a little
I'm a toy. Sure.
Yeah, because and wapanga.
Yeah. So they feel that,
Yeah.
So definitely it has.
And then, what do you think what were you escaping from?
That's a very good question. When I
yeah, because I mean it's an escapism that you were having. So what do you think you were escaping from? Dun dun dun.
Moment of silence. That's my neighbor.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's fine. Neighbor will come back later. Let's continue.
We'll come back later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you still thinking about what you're escaping from?
No, I think I know.
Okay.
I think I know. Dr. Masmaro said there is no substitute for purpose.
Yes.
Can you please tell them that we're busy?
Maki will come back to you later. Sali busy, Yana. Okay, sorry guys. That's the part about live television.
Yeah. Like my neighbor is, but the car's outside, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a go.
Okay, we are live, guys. Sorry. Neighbor doesn't know that we are shooting.
Didn't tell him to go.
Okay.
Can I?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I'll talk to the people in the meantime. Okay, Tumi's coming back. He's just going to talk to the neighbor. Who's this? Naomi says, sorry, just tuned in. Not sure if you have answered this, Mara. How does one identify if you have addiction? I can say an info. First of all, I can answer a little bit of that, Naomi. Tumi's coming back. He's just dealing with the neighbor. Again, people don't know when we are shooting. Nymphomaniac used to be a term that was dubbed for women. It was given for women because they said if women enjoyed having sex, it means that there was something wrong. It meant they were crazy. Hence they called it a mania. It meant that you were crazy, you had lost your mind, and that's why women used to be taken to asylums because they were called nymphomaniacs, right? So what Tumi had said earlier on was in terms of addiction was to say that when it takes over your life, when you get to a point where it's taken over your life, it's an addiction.
Good.
Naomi, I was just answering Naomi. She was saying she just tuned in and she was asking if we had touched on the fact of how do you know it's an addiction.
Oh, okay.
As in and she called it if you know you're a nympho. So I was just giving a background of the word nymphomaniac, that it was only for women.
Okay.
They said if women were, in the olden days, if women enjoyed sex, it meant that there was something wrong with them. It was a mania, it was a madness.
Oh.
Women were not allowed to enjoy sex.
Hence the term nympho.
Yes.
Wow.
It's only for women. It was meant for women, and they would put them in mental asylums because it meant that you were promiscuous. Wow. You shouldn't enjoy sex. It's for your husband. And
wow, that's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep.
So hence the term nymphomaniac. Yeah?
Yep.
What does Lerato say? But my cute way saying, we put our relief in oh, we put our relief in addiction.
Yeah, right. Okay. No, I'm back.
Yes, we were still talking about what is it that you thought you needed to escape from.
Yeah, like I said, Dr. Martha Monroe said there is no substitute for purpose.
Yeah.
So I remember after I got my qualification, I was 26, my second one, I was 26, and Dad just bought me a car. So everything was looking up for me, you know what I mean? But I couldn't find a job, right? And I was home for like 6 months, 7 months. And here's what my daily routine was. I'd wake up in the morning, take a bath, get in the car, go to the car wash, leave the car there, go buy 6-pack nyana, drink, watch the guy, wash my car, after go to Chisa Nyama, you know what I mean? Give us a gauge, come home.
Yeah.
Every day.
That was your routine every day?
Yeah.
That is pretty boring.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, I was dealing with unemployment in that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And after a while, that didn't help me feel better.
Yeah.
And I needed something else, something stronger, something more distracting. And sex was my drug, you know? And to me, like I pick up a girl just driving, hey, guy, if we leave we go drink, we chill, have fun, and then it becomes a daily thing now. Tomorrow is the next goal, next goal.
Yeah.
And when I say next goal, like I'm having sex with it.
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
yes.
Sure. So I started to enjoy that, and I'm like, wow, so okay, it's that easy, wow. And then the porn is feeding that too. So can I miss the one noto, I'm the fuck boy, and it's growing, and I give on. And then at 29, that was when I hit rock bottom, and I was like, you know what, no, I can't live like this. I need stability.
Yeah.
I'm not coping. Like I said, the symptoms: chronic masturbation, Porn viewing. You can't commit to one person. You see women as sex objects. Nothing else. I don't see it too. You are just someone that I need to bang and then on to the next one. So
like I'm just a moving VJJ.
that's it.
Wow.
That's it. You know, even in church, I start having fantasies. Go, Mama Rodi.
Oh no.
You know what I mean? Yes. You know, Ashara, worship lead. Like you just want to feed that. So it almost is a distraction, and then it becomes a hobby. Then it becomes a bad habit. Then now you're stuck. You just can't get out. That's why, and it's funny because the guys I would meet at brothels, at strip clubs, they married. Most of them, they were married, they had kids, and I would talk to them, hey, guys, why do you come here? And they all say the same thing. Hey Joe, not easy Joe. I just don't get satisfied.
Yeah, but that's what I'm asking. Like, what was the escape? What, do you think you were escaping from the reality or the pressure of where you were finding yourself at that time?
I was escaping unemployment. That's for one. I was escaping the responsibility to take over my dad's church.
Yeah.
As a pastor. You know.
Yes, he's a pastor's child. He's a PK, and he's a pastor himself.
So I'm supposed to. So I couldn't add two and two together. I couldn't understand how God would call someone who's immoral like me.
Yeah. Why
would you want me on that pulpit knowing that I'm the least qualified?
Like, especially those skeletons.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because I love preaching, ne? I love preaching. But when I get down, there's always that
yeah.
How dare you?
I know what you did last summer.
How dare you, carry suit more act all holy. So that's how it kept playing on my mind. But like I said, I was escaping my reality. Unemployment, normal day stuff, man. Like, the real world is boring. Just be honest. The real world is boring, and people use many things to escape the real world. Of a 9 to 5, wife and kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, sex was my drug, and it did a hell of a good job. Because I would spend hours in my room, hours on the phone.
Was it expensive to feed?
Yes! Data must fall.
Yeah.
Data, like, you finish like 5 gig in a day.
No.
Yes! Because you just change categories. Download. Yes! If it's not porn, it's the strip club. If it's not that, petrol. Like, you're spending money on feeding their addiction. It's condoms, it's sex pills. So pharmacy, never gives you blind. The money every Friday, he comes here, what I got fight to Andro, I'm the already here. Sex pills to
for the boost, yeah.
And that's expensive. So it's sex pills.
And I don't even think that's even healthy for you.
Well, that's a story for another day.
Okay, but still, I mean,
but it's costly.
Yeah,
it's costly. So I remember one day I spent 4K. Go Summit in Joburg, ne? Summit is a strip club.
Yes.
So I spent the night there, and I spent 4K. And when I left the place, I didn't even have money to come back home.
Yeah.
And I had to send please call me to guys, can you please come fetch me? I get now petrol, get shifter from here.
Yeah.
To even go back home.
No, then you know it's an addiction.
Yes, I spent my last cent.
No. Like, if people didn't think that it's an addiction, for me, that is it. You know, when you get to a point where something is so crippling to your life that you don't care about I would say, if you don't care about your safety, if you don't care about your well-being, and if you don't care about the consequences of those actions, then you know for a fact that you are an addict to whatever it is that you're in.
You're a slave. Yeah.
You're a slave.
You're a slave.
Yeah?
You're a slave.
I want to read this. This is deep. Hey, does okay, is probably okay. I'm trying to read this. Everything to do with an experience one had in one's childhood. Or it says, does it have anything to do with an experience in one's childhood? Do you think it's linked to your childhood in any way?
I have tried to connect the dots,
Mm-hmm.
and it's scary. It's scary because when I think back, age maybe like 7 or 8,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'd fantasize ka my nanny
Mm-hmm.
as a para. I would undress my nannies. I would undress the cleaners for hire.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would undress women at church, and I'm a child.
Mm.
You know, and I didn't know where that came from. Obvious, you know, almost, you know, go creche, mama le papa.
Yeah.
I never missed that. Every day, like, I wanted to play that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but it was there. I think at one point there was a hint of homosexuality
Okay.
that I couldn't explain. You know, muska country like mama le papa. It's a boy and a girl, right?
Yeah.
And then they just came bayran with
Dry humping.
dry humping with their clothes on.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I would be dry humping guys. True story.
Yeah.
I'd be dry humping guys, and it felt good when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got to primary school, 13, 12, 13.
When you could now gender
Sure,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, nope, that's not me. But now it still bothers me that why did I try hump guys?
do you think, I'm not trying to clutch at straws.
Sure.
I'm coming from a point of people that I've had conversations with about this.
Sure.
Most people who find themselves later becoming hypersexual will later look at the fact that they were sexually abused as kids.
Yeah.
And it led to hypersexuality. Do you
Yeah.
think, if when you look back, do you think there was any level of sexual abuse in your childhood?
No. Mom and dad were pastors.
Yeah.
So I didn't even once find a porn book under the bed. No, I was never molested. I was in a very safe place. It's just me who always fantasized about doing these sexual things, but I was never molested at all.
Wow, because I get we always want to find the root cause,
Yes,
but where does
true,
it come from?
true.
Where's your young impressionable mind?
Yeah, you're back. I think it could be genetics. It could be generational curses. It could be passed down. I think we need to also look at the spiritual side of things.
Yes.
That as families, the choices that I make today, they are being genetically coded, and they'll be passed down to the next generation. So when I look at my grandfather from my mom's side, he was a polygamist. He died at age 49. He had 28 kids.
Wow.
Yeah. He was buried Swaziland, and my mom says when they went to bury him, there was a 16-year-old crying, pregnant. And then
How old was your grandfather when he died?
I think it was like 49, 50. So they asked this, why are you crying like this? I don't know. Keep Papa man. She's 16. She's pregnant. So that's the kind of guy that he was. He was. So I asked my mom, could it be that I took that from him?
It's possible.
Because when I look at his pictures, he was tall, he was light skinned, he was a pretty boy. But he was a hardcore polygamist. So that could count too. From my dad's side, he was okay.
Yeah.
Grandpa was okay. But he had 2 wives though.
Oh, so you coming from a family of polygamists?
Yes.
Okay. And that's something that we don't look at. We always want to look at the behavior and look at it. We don't necessarily look at the spiritual connotations of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now, I think the big question is that now, how are you, now that again you've accepted, like, this is my problem?
Yeah.
How did you deal with it, or how are you dealing with it?
Yeah. Number one, like this. I talk about it. Back in the day, I would hide it because I was ashamed of it. I felt guilty. I felt that no child of God is supposed to be behaving like this. So I kept quiet. I was in my own little cave, and it just ate me and ate me. So now I talk about it. I write about it. And I find that there are a lot of guys out there, there are a lot of girls out there who are going through what I'm going through. They just don't have a word to describe it, to define it. They just think, well, get out sex, but no. There's a fine line between promiscuity and addiction. So I talk about it. I surround myself with people who are married, who are in healthy sexual setups. I talk about it. I pray. I fast. Internet. My time is limited. You know. I've even got the app to block the porn sites.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, easy. Good. Yeah, I can. You know what I mean? Because if you don't do that, willpower is not enough. So now when I try to go online, I cannot get to those sites anymore. So I'm doing my part, and God is doing His part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, that's I'm facing it every single day.
So yeah, because I remember this guy. He was talking about drug addiction. He's like, the cravings don't stop, guys. Like, let me tell you something. The cravings don't stop. What happens is that your will gets stronger.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And that was very powerful to me, you know, when I heard that. Let's hear what Tumi says. Mongani says we need to have a mass platform to talk about sex addiction. And I agree, because most people might not be aware of it.
Yep.
That is so true.
Yep.
And then Khulu says, hey, and here I was thinking, sex addiction is a result of sexual trauma. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, I think that's also one of the things that we say. We think, I also used to think that. Yeah. I thought it was because of some kind of sexual trauma. Yeah. But now when you're talking about it, and when we're looking at the spirituality of it, it has flipped the script for me, and it's kind of like cementing the whole notion of generational curses. Like, what are we carrying from
that we don't know about?
Yeah. And I mean, I'm speaking to you. You're a Christian. You believe in Christianity and Christian beliefs, and people will put it out there that, do you think it's there's things like sexual demons?
Of course. Like I was saying, the book that I'm busy with right now, that's coming out end of November. Yes, end of November, new book. Yes, coming out. It's titled, her name is Succubus, his name is Incubus, exposing sexual demons. So what is a succubus? A succubus is basically a female demon that sleeps with men in their dreams. So the guy would wake up in the morning and think whether it's just a wet dream, but he actually had sex with a succubus at night. So when he wakes up, he's drained, he's exhausted. I don't know why. And that thing, most Christians call it a spiritual wife, which can hinder you from potential lovers in the future, because it's very much possessive. And then when you are female and Olora having sex constantly, and that you are full, tired, drained, you've probably had sex with an incubus. That's a male sex demon. And it's rough, it's violent. You feel like you're being raped by this demon, and you don't know where it comes from. And sometimes it comes in a form of someone you know. So yeah, you know what I mean? You think, you do me, but it's not me. So demons are real, sex demons are real, and there's what we call demonic larva. Demonic larva is every time a man secretes king, every time a man releases a sperm seed, that seed doesn't just go to waste. Spiritually, that seed creates what we call demonic larva. These are babies. These are spiritual babies that...
Oh, like lava, as in like volcanic lava.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But these are demonic babies that grow that grow. And once they grow, there's no way for you to escape because like they now control you. They want to be around you because you are their father. So you are fathering strange babies. Are we doing guy? You have a spiritual wife, and nothing is working for you in the physical world. Every partner that comes to your life, what and they leave. It's because you are carrying an energy of succubus. So it's real. So when you change partners, jumping from one bed to the next, one bed to the next, you are making things worse. And you are opening a door for more sex demons to control you, to abuse you, to violate you, to mess up your life. So yes, there are sex demons. I talk about it in the book. It's
I can't
real.
wait to read it.
It's
a bit scary, but it's something
is.
that
It is.
I think is very interesting to note as well. You know.
Yeah.
And then going forward, obviously, I'm sure you want to have a family. You want to have a wife.
Eventually, right?
Eventually. Eventually. So how are we working on that? How are we making sure that we get into that?
There's someone, there's someone now that understands where I am, and they're going through this journey with me, and they don't judge me. And
to add on to that, before you even go into that,
Yeah.
your family, how did they react and
Yeah.
offer support? Did they offer support? Did they think, no, Shania, that's crazy?
They prayed for me, obviously. Typical black thing to do. They prayed for me. We break the spirit of this. We cast out this.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, but guys, this is
still here.
I'm still holding.
Yeah.
I still wanna have a threesome. They didn't understand that. Okay, this is bigger than me. This is passed down. This is genetically, encoded. This is generational. This is spiritual, and also it's a choice. It's pointless praying for someone that is still attached to his demons, because they pray for you, and then when you go back home, you are back to your laptop.
Yeah.
And those demons are back.
Like you're calling them back. Like,
sure, guys, come back. I'm sorry, God,
that guy, forget about that
guy. Come back, yeah, sure. So it's a choice. When you are enough, when you are tired of being sick and tired, that's when you'll take the steps to say, okay, you know what, I'm done. No more. No more being a slave to this. I'm doing this, and then God will meet you at the point of your need. But the choice starts with you to say, I'm tired.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, things changed when I said, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. And I'm about to round it up. I like this one. We kept to time. I always lose the time.
Yeah.
Just to round it off, if anybody's sitting at home and they're thinking, this just, it's struck a nerve, it's really hit home.
Yeah.
What advice would you give them? What would you give advice to give so that they can get out of the situation that they're in,
Yeah. Don't rely on willpower. Because I tried that so many times. Willpower, I got this. Paul says we put no confidence in the flesh. It will let you down all the time. Don't put your trust in your discipline, your willpower. This is a spiritual thing, and this will only take the grace of God to set you free. So if you're at home and you know that you can't get off those porn sites, tell someone about it. Talk to a psychologist if you think your pastor will judge you. But talk about it, and the more you talk about it, the shame will go away. And once the shame goes away, you will find more strength to abstain from those sites that keep putting you back in. Talk about it. Don't blame yourself. It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because for say maybe 10 days, you clean, and then you feel the craving, and then you watch it, and then because now you feel so bad, You wanna.
You need something that makes you feel good.
Yeah, it's you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's how addiction works.
Isn't it?
Exactly how it works.
Yeah.
It's like you fall off the wagon and then you beat yourself up for falling off the wagon.
Yeah,
Then you feel really bad about yourself. Then you go there because that thing makes you feel better.
Exactly.
And then now that you're back there, then when you come back to your senses, you're like, I feel even worse.
Sure.
And then you go back there and then it doesn't stop.
Sure.
That's exactly how addiction works.
Yeah. Don't blame yourself.
Exactly.
Don't condemn yourself.
Kono says, OP by the way,
Okay.
says that is sex addiction a consequence of behavior?
Consequence of behavior.
I don't know.
I think it's a result.
Yeah,
It's a result. It's a result of how do I say it? It's a result.
Yeah. I think that an addiction is just a space where somebody goes to where they'll find that relief or release. So
I get a question.
Yeah, okay.
I get a question.
Okay.
I think she's saying that let's say you're dating this person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you break up. And then you don't even have time to heal, but you're jumping on to the next person.
Oh yeah.
So she's saying, could changing partners be a consequence? Mm-hmm. Now my behavior is because of the consequences of
I see.
Of changing partners.
Yeah.
So now I must live with this thing that is I can't stop because I've been changing. So now she's asking that could changing partners have consequences such as sexual addiction? Yes.
So your promiscuity can lead to you being a sex addict.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, I get it now.
You can.
Yeah.
Definitely. Everything has consequences. Mm-hmm. Definitely, yes.
Yeah. I think we've come to the end of this. Thank you very much, you guys, for tuning in. And for those that missed it, I'll share it on my YouTube channel. And also, you can find it on Insta going forward. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure, eh?
Hey, it's always fun talking to you. You're like can talk for like forever.
Yeah.
And I think this is such an interesting topic because it's so taboo.
Yeah.
Amongst our people that I was like, you know what, I want to talk about it. These are the issues that we need to talk about.
Last year, 2 November, we had a sexual addiction open forum at our church. Posters were out, I was excited. I called a psychologist, I called a sex therapist, and guess how many people came?
How many?
4.
I'm sure, because everybody's like, I want to think I'm a sex addict.
Yeah. 4. I'm like, okay, so it's still
it's a taboo.
Yeah,
it's a taboo. I think that's the thing. I think we must make it a secret thing. We have a secret.
Yeah.
Meeting, and I think people will come because of the fact that they are afraid of the shame and the stigma that goes with it.
Sure.
And to be honest with you, I mean, you're not the first person that I've spoken to about this, and I've only spoken to males. And I don't blame the women for not coming out because the world is harsher on women. Can you imagine a woman coming out and saying, I'm a sex addict?
Yeah.
Like, the world is not going to be as kind. Right now, people are thinking, he's so cool.
It's a guy. Yeah,
he's a guy. This one,
Sure.
But if it is a woman, the world would be so much more harsher.
Sure.
Like, in the sense of,
shaming,
slut shaming and everything. So, it's such a taboo. It's still at the point where it's such a taboo, yeah? And, thank you very much for everything. And guys, you feel free to suggest issues that you want me to tackle. I will find the right people to speak to. Even if you have somebody that's got an incredible story to tell us about, that's what I want. I want us to hear these stories about ordinary people that we know, that person that you will bump into at a mall, that person that you went to school with, that person that that are going through these incredible life stories that we are not even aware of. I want to say everybody has got an incredible story to tell. There's nobody who doesn't have an incredible story to tell. So thank you very much for tuning in. Let's do it again in 2 weeks. I'm not sure what I'll be talking about, but I think I'll be talking about money and relationships. So that topic. Thank you guys.
Bye.
Cheers. Yeah. There we go. And video.